Alright, so in this video we're going to implement our filters, our search or filters. But before that, one thing I want to do is I want to move the search element out of the main layout and into individual views, because one reason we don't want the search to be on pages like register or login. We want them on individual job views. Alright, so I'm going to go to my default view, close that, and then take this, cut it, save, and let's go into our job index view and paste that in up here. Okay, so now if we go to our index, we have it, the other pages don't. Okay, so we also want it on the browse page, so go to our browse view and paste that in as well. I just want to have a BR tag under this, a line break. Okay, so now it should be visible on the browse page as well. Now, one thing we need to do here is the category drop down is static, and we need that to come from our categories table. So let's open the element, so views, elements, search, and I'm just going to go to the category select and replace it. Okay, so select ID, category select, the name is category, we have just the select category option, and then we're going to loop through the categories and then output an option with the value of the category's ID, and then the actual text will be the category name. Okay, and now this is coming from our database. And you'll notice that the browse page works and the index doesn't. And the reason for that is that if we go to the jobs controller and the browse function, we have this fetching our categories. We don't have it in the index, so we need to copy this and then just paste it up here in the index as well. Now you can see that they're now getting pulled in. Now, in order for these filters to work, we have to do a few things. And the first thing we want to do is inside of the browse function, we want to check for post. We want to see if a form is getting submitted. That's the first thing we want to do. So up at the top, we're going to say if this request is, okay, so this is all cake PHP syntax. If request is post, then we want to do something. Let's just do a test. Just say die is post. Alright, so let's reload this and just put whatever. Okay, so it looks like it's not going to the browse page. So let's just check that search element file. Alright, form class. Alright, so the action is going nowhere right now. And we need this to go to the browse method. Alright, so it's going to go to, let's see, PHP echo this web root, and then it's going to go to jobs/browse. Okay, so let's reload. And no matter what page we're on, if we're submitting this, it should go to browse. Alright, and you can see that we're getting that is post. Okay, so that's working. So now I want to check for individual fields. Alright, so we have 3 fields. We have the keywords, states, and categories. And I want people to be able to put in a keyword and not select either of these and then have anything come up in any state or any category. And we also want it to be able to select a state without a category, or select a category without a state, or all 3. So we're going to check to see if these fields are empty, and if they're not empty, then we're just going to add a condition that's going to basically search the fields we want for whatever the keyword is or whatever the state or category is. So let's do the keywords first. So the way we can test this is we can say if not empty, say this request data, and then parentheses, and then we want the name of the field, so keywords. Now this right here, this request data and then the name of the field, this is the exact same as, well, not the exact, because I think there's some security precautions that are taken through Kick PHP, but it's pretty much like saying this. Alright, so it's pretty much the same thing, it's just grabbing that post variable. Alright, so if keywords is not empty, actually, you know what, we have to grab this conditions array and put this at the top, because that's what we're going to be doing. We're just going to add to the conditions array. So that should be first. And we'll say check keyword filter. And let's just look at the conditions array we have here. Let's just grab that and put this right here. So basically what I want to do, I want to check the title and the description for the keywords. Okay, so the first one will be job. It's going to be job.title. Okay, I'm going to say like, and then we're going to grab this post variable. Alright, and then we're going to put a comma here, and I'm going to copy this, and we're going to say job dot description, and we're going to match it against the keywords. Alright, so we got some decent filtering search functionality from a real minimal amount of code. So let's save this and we can come and test it out. Alright, so let's look for something. Let's try the word house. Hopefully House Painter will get pulled up. Okay, that definitely didn't work. Huh. Strange. Let me just make sure that this is actually coming in. Actually, I'll just say die. Let's try that. Test. Test. Alright, so it's not actually, you know what, let's check the search element input. Oh, okay, we don't have the name attribute here. We don't even need ID. Well, actually, let's just, I think we have some styling that needs that. So you just want to make sure that you have name equals keywords, and then we need to make sure, okay, these should also have name. So this will be states, and then down here it already has the name category. All right, so this should work. Let's all right, so let's go ahead and move that die. Okay, so we'll try this again. House, submit. So nothing comes up. Let's see, what about graphic still? Oh, you know what? This is happening because I think it's doing an and. It's saying this and this, and we need to make it or. So I think we can just put in right here and say or, and then that starts its own array. So array, yeah, I think that's the syntax. Let's try that. Home. All right, let's see, 45. It's just right here. Oh, we need the we need another closing parenthesis. All right, so house, submit, and there it is. All right, let's do another test. Graphics, or just graphic, and we get graphic designer. Now this is in Burlington, Massachusetts, so we'll say graphic and then choose Alaska. Okay, and we still get it, but that's only because we haven't implemented the state and category yet. So let's do that. So I'm going to paste this in. Okay, so it's basically the same thing, same kind of thing. We're checking to see if state is empty. All right, so if the post variable state is not empty actually, and it's not equal to select state. And the reason we have this is because in our view we have the option select state, so you want to make sure that that's not chosen. If it is, then it's just going to skip the whole thing altogether. Alright, so if there is a state query, then it's just going to add this to the conditions array. We're going to say job.state like, and then whatever the state is. Alright, so next let's add the category filter. Okay, this is basically the same thing, different content. We're saying if it's not empty and if it's not equal to select category. Okay, so this should allow us to, that should give us our full functionality of this search. So we'll say house, let's say Alabama, I believe it's Mass. Yeah. Okay, submit, and it still comes up. Okay, we have state here. In the search, in the select, I have states, plural, so get rid of that. And then this is category. Alright, so this should work, hopefully. Okay, house, Alabama, no jobs. Okay, let's say house, Massachusetts, and now we get it. And we can try test out the category as well. I think this is construction. So house, construction. Okay, what about house, technology? Alright, so our search bar is now fully functional. The last thing I want to do for this chapter is implement our single listing. So if we click read more, okay, we should be able to view that job information. So inside of our jobs controller, we need to add a view function. view single job. Alright, so this view is going to take an ID. Okay, because we need to know which listing we're viewing. And I'm just going to throw this in because this is a really small function. Alright, so basically we're saying if there's no ID, so if they just go to /view and not view /1 or 2 or whatever, then we're just going to throw an error. Alright, so this is Cake PHP's syntax for basically throwing an exception, an error. Alright, and we're just going to say invalid job listing. Alright, job, the variable we're going to set to find by ID. Alright, so that's how you can get a single result using its ID. Alright, if there is no job, then invalid job listing. And then here we're just setting the title, and then we're just calling the view, which will be the view. This, I didn't really explain this, but this is how you can set your title, is by using this here, title for layout. I guess that's kind of a hook. And I actually want to use that in our other methods as well, so let's grab this. Okay, so for the index, we'll put it in at the bottom here. Alright, so title for layout, and let's just set this to some static text. We'll say job finds, need quotes. Job finds, welcome. Okay, you can see it's up here. Let's do the same with browse jobs. So at the bottom of the browse function, and I'll change this, say browse for a job. Alright, so that looks better. And if we click on the job, we still need to do the view. Alright, so that's the view method. Now let's go to make sure you're in your view folder and then jobs. And then we're going to create a new file called view.php. I'm sorry, not PHP. I keep doing that. It should be CTP. Not exactly sure what that stands for, but that's just the Cake PHP view format. So let's open that up, and I'm going to go to our HTML template, and we called this details there, but basically it's the same thing. We don't want any of the layouts. We just basically want from here to here. Okay, we'll paste that in. Okay, now in our controller, we have find by ID, so now we have this job variable that we have access to in our view. Okay, so for the title, say PHP echo job title. Okay, let's see if that works. Undefined index, I think we need to add here. We need to add the object name. There we go. Okay, so next we want the city and the state in the location. So I'm going to copy this, and that'll be the state. I'm sorry, that'll be the city. And this will be the state. Okay, job type. I believe we can do this. I think we can say job type name description it's a long description. Alright, so description, contact email. So we're just going to replace the email here. Okay, let's test that out. Alright. Perfect. Back to jobs, which let's change that link. Say echo this web root and then jobs/browse. Okay, so we're done with the jobs display. That's all set. All we need to do now is add the functionality to add a job, and also for the user to be able to edit the job.